Well, client confidentiality doesn't seem to mean anything these days. I'm only joking. I'm over from Ireland, by the way, and they warned me. It's all true. It's terrible. No, I am. I'm over from Ireland tonight. My name is Paul, but I'm also known over there as Mr. Dead Sound. We have a competition every year to judge the soundest bloke in the whole of Ireland. I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually win. I came in second. But I kicked up such a fuss at losing that the guy who won gave me the prize because he was a fucking Dead Sound bloke, you know. I've had loads of nicknames throughout my life. In school, I was called Mr. Compromise. I wanted to be called something else, but we went with that. So yeah, there'll be loads of them. So come here and I tell you, I have loads of jokes in my head, but they're all gone. I'm just picturing all that stuff. I'm sitting there, I'm standing there listening to all that. My God. Anyway, yeah, because I'm 45. Would you? Yeah. Okay. No argument there. No, I am. I'm far. I recently turned 45. Is there anyone in the room in their 40s? Give us a cheer if you're in your 40s. There's a few in their 40s. And yeah, no, because when you're in your 40s, people try and console you. They say stuff to you like, oh, life begins at 40. No, life begins at 0. That's just basic maths, you know. And loads has happened to me since I turned 40. I got diagnosed with a rare form of Alzheimer's. It seems it runs in my family, but they forgot to tell me. And it's called Alzheimer's, and what happens is I mix up my long-term memories with movies that I've seen. Yeah, my doctor reckons it all stemmed from a traumatic experience I had when my best friend Bubba died in my arms in Vietnam. I say my doctor, he's actually this guy who just follows me around. It seems he's dead and I'm the only person who can see him. Hope I haven't ruined that in anyone. But speaking of Alzheimer's, did you ever walk into a room and forget why you walked in there? Does that ever happen to you? Yeah, that keeps happening to me lately. But the problem is, I'm a firefighter. Search and rescue is not going too well, you know. What are we? Oh yeah, searching for people. No, I am. I work for Dublin Fire Brigade, and this is like my second job. But the two jobs couldn't be more different. I'll give you an example. Say somebody's screaming. In comedy, that's good. In firefighting, that's bad. Clearing everybody out of the building. In firefighting, that's good. In comedy, that's bad. Leaving people begging for more. Comedy, good. Firefighting, bad. Taking out your big hose and spraying it everywhere. Firefighting, good. Comedy, we'll see how my finale goes. I know I don't have a big hose. I actually have a massive cock though. I don't, I'm joking. I have a nickname for my penis. I call it Life, because it's too short. And it gets hard when you least expect it. But my father once told me that marriage sucks the life out of you, so I got married anyway. Slow burner, that one. She's a lovely girl. Terrible names. Sharon. She's a good age, Sharon. I remember. Sorry, call back there. I remember when I met her, it was a very tough time in my life. I was up on assault charges, and I was working as a janitor in Trinity College in Dublin when the maths department put an equation on the board one night. I finished it anyway. I'm fairly handy with the old maths. So the judge said it'd be grand if I went to see Robin Williams once a week. So we started going out with each other. We went out with each other for about 5.5 years. The first 2 years were easy going, but then things started to get serious. You know, she wanted to know my second name and stuff like that. Then came that inevitable question one night. She said to me, Paul, because she's the same voice as me. Paul, how many women have you slept with, roughly? And I said, oh, only some of them were into that. I know you wouldn't know to look at me, but I've smacked more arses than a midwife's convention, you know, back in the... I know, I'll be honest with you, you'd probably count the amount of women I've slept with on one hand. Using the Who's Your Daddy app. My favorite joke. My other big news, I mentioned midwives there. Myself and my wife, we were trying to get pregnant for a long time. And in the end, anyway, she got there before me. So I've been a proud dad for 1.5 years now. Thanks very much. He's actually 2 years old. It took me a while to warm to him. But it's great, though. Another human being is going to call me daddy, voluntarily, anyway. But I'll tell you what we found very hard was coming up with a name for him. Actually, I'll be honest with you, he's actually 2.5. These are old jokes. No, he is. If there's anyone in here tonight has kids, they'll tell you the terrible twos doesn't cut it. I've been minding him all week, and he is just. They have no fear. Toddlers have no fear. Like I put him in a situation during the week that I know when he's a grown man will frighten the shit out of him. I brought him to IKEA. Yeah, there's nothing worse. It wasn't too bad this time going to IKEA because I was by myself. IKEA is a lot like sex. If you don't involve the wife, you can get it done in a fraction of the time. IKEA is a lot like sex. It looks better when Swedish people are doing it. IKEA is a lot like sex. I like it, but I don't want to have to go to Warrington for it. Crowd in from Warrington tonight. Sorry about that. I'm glad you liked that joke. I put it together myself. Terrible. Actually, true story. I told that joke recently in a place called Cork in Ireland, and as I was telling the bit about IKEA is a lot like sex, this guy shouted out, "And your dad's always offering to help." Kind of hoping he didn't get the joke, but yeah, no. As I say, so we have a toddler, and we weren't expecting. The part we weren't expecting was coming up with a name for him because we put in the effort. Like we read all the books, and we would go to the cinema and we'd watch all the credits afterwards, and we'd go for walks through graveyards and all, trying to come up with a good name, you know. And because I actually wanted to call him Andy after a guy I was in prison with. He managed to escape. He dug a tunnel behind a poster. Lives over there and say, "What an AO now, keep in touch on Facebook." But you see, we didn't know the sex of the child till he was born. We went in for the scans and all. We said, we don't want to know, it's a surprise. My wife used to hate getting the scans done. She doesn't like getting the gooey stuff squirted on her belly. But you better get used to it because we're not having any more kids. Yeah, I'm the dirty one tonight, sorry about that. But as I say, I work for Dublin Fire Brigade, right? But I'm a paramedic as well, and you hear the worst names you could possibly hear for children in the back of the ambulance. I'll give you an example. I got a child one night called Famale, and I said to the mother, "That's lovely. Is that Italian? It sounds Italian. Famale." And she said to me, "Now, one of the nurses in the hospital wrote it on her chart, and then she spelled out the word female." Honest to God, right? In Tala in Dublin, where I live, right? I got a little girl in the back of the ambulance called Sudoku. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be professional at all times, but straight into the mother's face, I was like, "Sudoku?" And she says to me, "Yeah, is that a problem?" And I said, "Well, actually, it is a problem." I remember asking for the child's date of birth, and she gave me one number. I had to figure the rest out myself. But I tell you, it doesn't matter how many bad jokes or bad names I hear. I've already heard the worst name you could possibly call a child. Because when I went to school in Tipperary, this family came back from America and they had 2 sons called Lou and Thomas. And Lou was in my class. The whole way through school, we called them Lou. And when we were in our early 20s, we were out drinking one night, and he confessed to me that he was actually christened Lucifer. Yeah, no, the other fella. And of course, I told everyone. And from then on, the poor fucker, anytime he walked into a room, someone was bound to go, "Oh, speak of the devil." But guys, as I say, I'm 45 now, and things change when you're my age. Like, I'm not as adventurous in the bedroom department as I used to be. Like, my idea now of a sexual fantasy is that the two of us are making love and we've no mortgage. You know. That'll do me, you know. But my wife is always trying to come up with new stuff for us to try. And recently I got a television for the bedroom, and I hung it up on the wall. And she said to me, "You know what we should do some night? We should watch a blue movie." And I said, "Oh, I'm way ahead of you." And she said, "Were you thinking the same thing?" And I said, No, I've been watching porn for like 30 years. I have. It's the only way I know anything about sex. I grew up in a small village down in Tipperary in the middle of Ireland. And it was tough going. I remember when I was younger, I was in the Scouts and I was doing Bob a job one day. And I knocked on the door of this house. And next thing, about 10,000 balloons come up out of the roof of the house. And the whole fucking house took off. I ended up in South America with some old fella. I got in shite when I came home. And hitting puberty was a tough time. I remember when I was about 13, you see, our national sport is hurling, and where I come from, you have to play hurling, you know. So after the hurling games, I would rush in to get like the corner shower so that no one could see me wash me bits, you know. Because there was always that one guy there, he was more developed down there. He had like pubic hair and all, he's going around flaunting it, you know. I used to say to him, Father O'Brien, should you be in here? He went to Africa shortly after that. But that all changed when I was about 14 or 15. We got our first video recorder, and my brother, who was in his 20s at the time, used to get porn movies and then not hide them very well. So every Saturday night, my parents would go out, so my brothers and sisters would be left by myself. So come Saturdays, as I like to call them, I'd watch these movies, you know, and I don't want to alarm you too much, me being 14 watching all this porn, because you didn't see much of the ins and outs. Like this was back in the 80s, in the time of hairy porn. Like the women had like afro fannies, and the men looked like Chewbacca with a touch of alopecia, you know, like, because young crowd nowadays, you're spoiled with fannies. They're all trimmed up lovely, you know. You can see a fanny a mile away. You're like, oh, there's a fanny over there. But back in my day, you had to go looking for it, you know. There's a bit more adventure to it, you know. And these films, they were on VHS cassettes. Do you remember VHS cassettes? Like a far cry from like the high definition and the surround sound that we're all used to today. Like the quality of these movies was so bad that years later, when I actually got round to losing my virginity, I honestly thought there was going to be a buzzing noise throughout the proceedings. As I say, I'm with the same girl now nearly 12 years. In an effort to keep things interesting in the bedroom, there often is a buzzing noise throughout the proceedings. Don't need the dirty mind if people get that one. But actually, my wife loves having her feet sucked. Yeah. And I always feel sick afterwards. So I went to the doctor and I got an allergy test done. Turns out I'm lactose intolerant. Sorry, I can't help those dad jokes. I don't know how I'm fixed for time, by the way, because I was supposed to tell new jokes tonight. Is this a new joke night? Oh yeah, come here. I'm almost gone for time. Do you mind if I leave you in a few one-liners? Do you mind that? All right, okay. Come here. I got kicked out. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. I'm also Ireland's most modest man. Just got voted at. Yeah. Well, it was back in April. I didn't want to mention it. I recently got kicked out of the Pessimist Society of Ireland. I fucking knew that was going to happen. They never liked me because I used to put out too many chairs before the meetings. So I'm going to start up my own Pessimist Society. Probably won't be as good though. But they tried to stop me wearing my magnetic gloves at the clay pigeon shoot, but I stuck to my guns. Terrible. What else have we got? It was at 77 minutes past 7 this morning that I realised that alarm clock I got in Lidl was shit. And the last one is I'm also in an S&M club, but we're not accepting any new members. It's full. Our hands are tied. So there's no point in submitting application forms. Personally, I'd like to give everyone a fair crack at the whip, but they won't allow it. Why? Beats me. Folks, I'm Paul Marsh. Thanks very much for listening to me. Cheers.